Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hot Legs, straight from the Wine Exchange, with wine expert Kyle Meyer.
I promise, for this episode of Hot Legs, there will be no Arnold Wait, I just did it. There will be no Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations during the filming of this Hot Legs. But we are going to Austria, Arnold's home, and we are going to talk about one of, I'm sure, is Arnold's, or at least Wolfgang Puck's, favorite grape varieties, Grüne Veltliner. The indigenous, fabulous Grüne Veltliner from Austria. I just did it again. It's so easy to do. Okay, no Germans. Okay. We're going to get on with this. Two young Turks from the Wachau area of Austria. When I mean young, both the cats who made these wines are about 25, 26 years old. That's young. We think it's young in the Napa Valley, in France. In Austria, it's not young. Both of these estates have been in their respective families for centuries. It's the father to son. It's the handing over of the reins that takes place. Even though these kids are 25, 26 years old, they've been making wine since they were 12 or 13. So when we talk about the youth, yeah, they're young, but they're really experienced, and it shows in the wines. And we're going to show off two really great Austrian Grüne Veltliner wines from two of the greatest young winemakers working in Austria today. And we're going to start with Franz Josef Grietsch from Grietsch Mauritiushof. Now, I wasn't like doing that with an accent or anything. I think that's how I would actually say it. I think. I'm not Austrian, so I don't know. But this cat knows how to make wine. This is his Kalmuck Grüne Veltliner, which is kind of like an entry-level wine for him. Now, the deal with great Austrian white wines, particularly from the Wachau area, is they fetch a pretty penny in their native Austria. These wines are huge in demand, and the top bottlings commonly get $50, $60, $70, $80 a bottle for plain old steel-fermented dry white wine. Okay? The deal here is the young kids, being what they are, they realize that, hey, not everybody can afford to drink $50, $60, $70 white wine on a daily basis. So both these guys have gone to great lengths to provide excellent value. They're very enlightened how they look at the business, which is refreshing because the old guard was maybe not so enlightened as to how they viewed the marketing and sales within these Austrian wineries. So anyway, Franz Josef, 26 years old, made Kalmuck so that his buddies could have wine to drink. The good thing is, it comes from the best vineyards, some of the best vineyard sites in the Wachau. He's located in the town of Spitz, as is Johann Donaubaum, and Spitz is one of the best towns. It's in the northern part, it's in the coolest area of the Wachau. So these wines are really crystalline, really zippy, really snappy. I mean, they're wake-up calls, man. They just, woohoo, you know, these types of wines. And they're just beautiful. The key with Grüne Veltliner, a grape moment, if you will, is that Grüner, it doesn't taste fruity in a traditional sense. People say, describe the taste of Grüne Veltliner. And you say to yourself, well, it tastes like vegetables. But not just vegetables. Rewind, okay? Farmer's market, Saturday morning, the fresh pea shoots, the fresh baby peas, the sweet peas, think of any vegetable you've ever had that just, you're eating them raw over and over and you can't get enough of them, just jamming pounds of veggies down your pie hole. That's these wines, okay? They have this wonderful, sweet vegetal quality to them, along with like quince notes. Not like all of us sit around eating friggin' quince, but they taste quincy, okay? And they have a fabulous minerality to them and a nice blast of white pepper. What I'm getting at is these are complex wines for the money. These aren't everyday, buttery, simple Chardonnays. These are wines you can really wrap your face around, and amazingly versatile in a number of cuisines, including schnitzel. Smell that. The pepper and the pea shoots are really coming to the fore in this wine, which I love. Even though Gruner's snappy, it has great richness in the mid palate. Okay, there's a density there. There's an intensity of flavor that you don't get out of a simple, light, dainty wine, and a nice mineral lick on the finish, man. I want salty, meaty things with this. I want salamis and prosciuttos and cured meats and Man, I could drink like 10 bottles of this stuff. He's good. This kid's got chops. Don't ask me what a Kalmuk is. I have no idea. All I know is the label's kind of cool. I like that whole kind of plaid thing going on. And the wine's really sharp. And of course, screw cap situation. Drinking. Other young Turk, also in Spitz. We're talking about Johann Donelbaum. Now, Johann's like, well, he's the old guy. He's like a year older than Franz Josef, okay? So he's like 26 or 7 or something like that. And as well, you know, along with Franz Josef, is in charge of some of the greatest vineyard sites in the Wachau. Spitz is full of what we would call Grand Cru vineyards in Austria, okay? They have their own kind of like loose classification, and both these guys work a number of top Grand Cru sites in Austria. This wine, as opposed to this wine, which comes from a blend of several really great vineyards in Spitz blended together, this wine is a single vineyard offering from the Spitzer Point vineyard. Little wine label 101. You got the name of the winery here. You got the grape variety here. Smaller labels, you got the Spitzer Point, that's the vineyard. And underneath is Federspiel. Now, Federspiel is simply an indication of the ripeness at which the grapes were harvested at. Okay, so these grapes are harvested not quite as ripe as the more expensive Austrian wines to get in that $50, $60 wine range. Those wines will indicate the ripeness level at harvest with Schmaragd, S-M-A-R-A-G-D, Schmaragd, it'll say on the label. But the Federspiels are meant as just like entry-level yummy wines. But the key thing here is, a lot of the Federspiel wines don't come from these Grand Cru sites, like Spitzer Point. They tend to come from the flats, closer to the River Danube, the inferior sites, to be perfectly honest. So to get a Federspiel level wine from a great Grand Cru site, you know, it's like making a $25 wine from Martha's Vineyard. Okay, you know, if you want to put it in some kind of terms, you know, Screaming Eagles Vineyard making $30 Cabernet. Okay, that's what we're talking about. And it shows in the wine. More mineral here, okay? Just really crystalline, pinpoint. I love it. Razor sharp, but not razor sharp in a mean way. When I say razor sharp, I mean clarity of flavor. I can't emphasize that enough. This wine is joyous and has a nice, really green apple core to it, along with a little more of the citrusy tropical fruit side of the spectrum. So just precise. And I love that. I hate flabby, diffuse wines. And these wines just have amazing precision. So when you're eating your food and you're drinking the wine, you can have both experiences, which I think is vital. Both these wines, untainted by oak, both on the shelf, under 20 bucks. Especially nowadays, to get something like world class and yummy and drinkable and not have to pay an arm and a leg, coming from some of the best sites, from really cool producers that have a grip. I mean, that's my definition of a wine I want to drink on a daily basis. And you should too. If you haven't embraced Austria, there, okay, I had to get one. If you haven't embraced Austria, embrace it, because the wines are really exciting. And this is the new age of Austrian wine. Jawohl!